What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. This is Eric, and today it is finally time to resume my Scream review series that I started a while back. I was supposed to finish this before Scream came out. I had a lot of issues. I got sick, and it's been some time. I'm finally well again and ready to get the channel going full steam ahead. So going to be doing music reviews, movie reviews, everything I've been doing here, news, updates, all that. Eric's house is back. So let's talk about Scream 2. And Scream 2 was one that I didn't expect to be very great when it came out. I really liked Scream. I reviewed that one on the channel. And obviously we know, and the hilarious thing about this movie is this movie touches on it, that sequels are by definition inferior films. And then there's the argument, they mentioned some really cool movies like Aliens, and I don't know if they mentioned Terminator 2, I think they may have, but there's some great sequels out there. But yeah, in general, sequels not going to be as good. In this particular case, though, I would say it's not quite as good. I don't like it quite as much, and I'll talk about a few of the reasons why. But damn, this was a very strong sequel, especially considering that it was rushed. It was made very quickly after the first. The first was successful, like, okay, we got to get another one out. Let's put it out quick, boom. And damn, if it wasn't entertaining and if it wasn't in the spirit of the Scream franchise, and that's the one thing I'll say about this entire franchise, is they really stay consistent. There's not one film in the Scream franchise that you watch and you're like, what the living hell was that? There might be for some people, but for me, all the movies, even the new one, are very consistent, and they all are easy to watch one after another, and you never feel like you have to get through one that's just complete garbage, which a lot of horror franchises, even most horror franchises, have at least one of those garbage films in there. Obviously going to have spoilers in this review, so just letting you know, spoiler warning. Let's get into Scream 2. Now, the opening of this movie, this was that opening that had Jada Pinkett Smith, and this was an insane opening. I remember that my theater was just like blown away by this opening. But I understand, stretching plausibility a little bit in movies, but like, I have never been to a movie theater where the entire theater is acting absolutely insane, screaming, throwing stuff. I mean, it was just a disaster. It was a mess. I would have hated to be there. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. That doesn't happen, first of all. It was just way over the top. They're getting up, jumping up. Yeah, I'm gonna fucking kill that bitch. Everyone's just screaming, throwing stuff, throwing popcorn, throwing everything all over it. I mean, it was just, that's not how theaters work. Even the most hyped up film of all time, that's not normal. But that was just one thing. The second thing is just the way that, you had Omar Epps, his character, boyfriend with Jada Pinkett Smith's character. So they were there. Omar Epps acting funny. He's like, I gotta go to the restroom. And then he puts his ear up to he hears something funny, puts his ear up to the other, like, who would do that? And how did the guy in the other stall know that? And he went with the knife right there to kill him. It was kind of cool kill scene, but didn't make a lot of sense. And then you had Jada Pinkett Smith kill scene where she's up on stage, and it's kind of cool. Everyone thinks it's a publicity stunt. So she's dying up there. It's pretty hard to watch, actually. But that whole scene I just found very implausible, very, very silly. And but I can see why people liked it. It was a cool way in the theater. Even I thought it was a pretty badass way to kick off the film. But on rewatches, it's like, okay, this is kind of dumb. But we meet all the characters after that, the regular characters, and I just love the cast. This is my favorite film as far as all the characters are in this movie. They unfortunately are not able to all come back for later films. Some of them die. But you got not only Sidney Prescott, who is awesome. She is absolutely one of the best final girls, whatever you want to call it, in horror film history. Obviously, Randy is back. He is awesome. We'll get more on him in a little bit. Dewey is back, of course. Gale Weathers is back. And Cotton Weary is back. Cotton is the guy who was trying to become famous. He wants fame because he was exonerated for Sidney's mom's murder. He wants everyone to know who he is. He wants to talk in interviews. He wants to be famous. Sidney's the opposite. She just wants people to leave her alone, live her quiet life, get past all this. And so they butt heads, and to the point that, this guy's kind of acts pretty creepy and pretty crazy. A little over the top, I thought, but it is kind of, I think, to try to put it in our heads, like, is this the killer? This guy's acting crazy. Like, to the point that this guy has to be the killer. Like, logically, this dude has to be the killer. He's acting like an absolute maniac. But there are people that act like maniacs that are not killers in real life. And, I love true crime, and I'm constantly reading stories about investigations where they're trying to find the killer, this serial killer out there, and they find these suspects who are like, okay, this dude is straight up wacko, weird, and creepy as all hell, and he was there near the scene. This has to be the guy, and then they'll find out that wasn't the guy. People are creepy, weird, crazy mother effers, and Cotton certainly is one of them. But I did find this movie, like most of the Scream, some of the Scream movies are, I don't want to say obvious, but it's easier than others to figure out who the killer is. I thought the first Scream, it was pretty damn obvious, but then again, I was also thinking like, it's so obvious it can't be, but it was. In this movie, I really didn't know. I figured there was going to be two killers. Could it be her boyfriend? By the way, he's another character I really liked in this movie. Could it be her new boyfriend? He seems cool. He seems really nice. And it seems like they wouldn't do that. But maybe they would just to trick us. I don't know. Could it be one of the regulars? That doesn't, I highly doubt it, right? It's not going to be Dewey or something, or Gail. That would be insane. I don't think so. Who could it be, right? Could it be Cotton because he's acting crazy? Now, when I first watched this movie, I was kind of trying to figure it out. When I found out, I was like, okay, I should have known. But hey, it kind of got me. I really didn't know who the killer was going to end up being. And it was a pretty good reveal at the end. But I love some of the scenes during this movie. This movie, again, like every Scream movie, referencing horror movies, and this time making fun of sequels. And that's why I love the new movie, how it makes fun of requels, because that's the new thing right now. They had to do that. If they didn't do that, it would have been a huge missed opportunity. And this movie knew you got to make fun of sequels. And we have great dialogue from Randy, the expert, the film expert, who is just a joy to watch in the first two movies. And obviously, spoiler alert, like I said earlier, this film, he gets killed. And it pissed off a lot of fans. And I didn't like it. I didn't like that they killed him off. I thought he was a vital character to this series. I'm not saying you can't kill off a major character as a shock thing, as to say nobody's safe, which they have shown that. They've certainly shown that. Although I would say Sidney Prescott's probably pretty safe. Apparently Gale Weathers is pretty safe. But in general, we know they'll kill off a major character. But that really pissed me off. I wasn't happy about it because I thought he could bring so much to future sequels. And it was to the point that in this new movie, they had to make basically a replacement for him. That new girl who is basically a replacement for Randy. And she's pretty good. I enjoyed her in the new movie. But I'd rather have Randy. But to kill him off in the second movie of a franchise that they didn't know how long it was going to go. They didn't know if it was going to be 5, 6, 7, 8 movies, and still don't know. We're already at 5. And apparently a 6 has been announced that I just talked about in my last video. So I didn't like it because I really love Randy as a character. But I guess props to the movie for having the guts to do it. I would have rather them, all due respect, why don't you whack Dewey back there? Why don't you, even Gail, I would have been better off. I know Gail's kind of, Courteney Cox, she's a big part of this franchise. I think they thought Randy was more of a side character, but he was really a fan favorite. So that sucked. I'm not going to hold the movie, too accountable for that, but just as a personal taste, personal preference, it's always a scene that bothers me. But her new boyfriend, Derek, he's definitely a suspect. It could be. He seems like such a cool dude. He's got his buddy, his friend named Mickey. And that's definitely a guy I was like, okay, that's the easiest guy for this movie to make the killer. He's the easiest guy. He's a new character. He's just kind of thrown in there. Unless they want to do the boyfriend again or Cotton. So there's a couple other suspects. But as I'm watching this movie, he's the most kind of the obvious pick. But I never thought it's him for sure. I wasn't sure. And again, kind of like in the first movie, it was the obvious pick. But the other killer was kind of threw me for a loop. I should have seen it coming. And that was this girl, this reporter who keeps on harassing Gail, wanting to talk to her. She kind of came out of nowhere and didn't really know her place in the movie. Her name is Debbie Salt. But the thing about her is she just had way too much screen time to be just some random reporter. And it's like, where's this going? But I guess when you watch a movie, you don't think that, well, that's the other killer. It just didn't strike me when I first watched this movie, but it ended up, like, why would she be, what's this reporter? Why would she be killing? Well, she is the mother, and it was a nice little touch, the mother of Billy Loomis from the first movie. So she's teaming up with this Mickey kid, and they are the ones, they're the killers. And I thought that final act was pretty fucking badass. I'm not going to lie. Like that final act that she shoots Mickey, she betrays him. Mickey's kind of a dumbass. And that entire thing, everything that went down there, bullets flying, Gail gets shot. You have Sydney and Debbie fighting. Debbie misses, now we know it's Miss Loomis. They're fighting. And then Cotton shows up and, Miss Loomis like, trying to convince Cotton, hey, take out this bitch, take out Sydney, okay? You want to be famous, blah, blah, blah. Look what she did to your life. And, she thought you were the killer. And then, obviously, he takes out Miss Loomis. It was a pretty badass. The entire sequence was pretty damn riveting, I thought. Definitely awesome. And overall, it really closed out the movie nicely. And I remember, in theaters thinking, holy shit, that was a lot better than I expected. It did leave a kind of bad taste in my mouth with the loss of, again, he's one of my favorite characters in Randy, and I really sucked to see him go. But I can't blame the movie too much. It is, anybody can go, anybody can die. This is real. Convince us that this shit is real and not the famous people don't always survive. So from that aspect, I can understand it. It just sucks. But the entire final act was pretty awesome. The review was pretty awesome. This is one I can go back to. I can go back to all of them, but Scream 2 I really look forward to. After Scream, I really look forward to getting to Scream 2. And then not as much Scream 3, but I still enjoy it. Scream 4 we'll talk about soon. Enjoy that one, and the new one as I reviewed, pretty damn badass. And I'm going to review that one again when I get to it, but I'll do a spoiler version of that a little bit later. And I know it's been a while, but hey, I started this series. I'm going to finish the series. I think this is a great film. I don't love it quite as much as the first, but it is a lot of fun. I enjoy Scream 2 and would highly recommend it. So you guys have a great day. Let me know what you think of Scream 2. We'll continue this series with Scream 3, Scream 4, and then a spoiler of Scream 5. You guys have a fantastic day. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe. We're going to talk to y'all next time.